Where did Batman Beyond begin? How did it all start? Isn't there a timeline thing that they need to fix? This is the Batman Beyond series here at Comicstorian. And this is where we take your favorite trade paperbacks and single issues and we break them down into digestible bites to help you understand. Then I read them dramatically back to you. All alterations to the panel, text, and images are to prevent copyright problems, and all art is owned by its respective companies. Today we're going to be covering the Batman Beyond issues 48, 49, and 50, which is basically two different miniature storylines about Batman Beyond, but it's also the finale to Batman Beyond Rebirth. I hope you guys enjoy, and let's just get into those stories, because the only thing you really need to know to get into these stories is that Terry McGinnis is Batman, Bruce Wayne is the old man that teaches him, and his brother Matt used to be Robin Beyond. Let's get into it. After a long night of taking out the Twilight Rangers, Terry flies in his batsuit telling Matt that they better have the food sys fully stocked because he is starving. And Matt laughs, telling him that taking down 13 Twilight Rangers is a full week's work and he did it in a single night. The food sys is set up to make him some pizza, just waiting for it to be done. Terry tells him good, he needs to check in with the boss first, make sure that all the Rangers were, and Bruce quickly spins back in his chair asking, "Why do you hate me? Why are you here to attack me?" Matt asks, "Is everything okay?" And Bruce scowls, telling Terry, "You wretched ingrate! You came to kill me! Admit it!" Terry asks, "What is this about? Did someone get into his head?" And Bruce yells, "You're the enemy! An assassin who's forcing me to defend myself! Activate defense protocols! Computer, shoot to kill!" As the internal defense drones shoot out, they begin to fire down on both Terry and Matt, forcing them to run away. Matt hides behind the Batmobile, yelling for Terry to do something, and Bruce activates more drones, telling him, "Tougher punks than you have tried to kill me, and they failed." Terry breaks one of the drones, telling Matt to hang on, but before he can even move, he's blasted by another set of drones. Bruce commands the drones to blow the assassin's head off, but as the drones all head straight for Terry, a voice tells Bruce that he can't let him do that. Booster Gold jumps in the way of the oncoming laser to shield Terry, telling him, "Having a force field is real nice sometimes." Terry asks who is he, and Booster asks, "Don't you recognize me? Booster Gold, the Booster freaking Gold." Terry tells him, "Nope," and Booster Gold grabs him, flying off, telling him, "I know I shouldn't have leaned into that whole greatest hero you never heard of thing." As the two fly out of the building, Terry asks where they're going, and Booster Gold tells him, not where, when. Long story short, I'm a time traveler originally from the 25th century. Grab some gear to go back in time to be a hero. Terry says, "Wait, are you the guy from those old commercials? Booster's Zit Zapper? That's you?" And Booster Gold shoots down another set of drones, telling him, "I wasn't born rich like your friend Wayne over there. Had to make coins somehow. Anyway, it was all a cover for my real job, protecting the time stream, making sure things go down like they're supposed to." Terry tells him, "Well, your job is to figure out what's wrong with Bruce." Booster Gold tells him, "As a time traveler, I'm pretty well acquainted with the past. Pretty sure I already know what's up. Today's events were keyed decades ago when Bruce was still Batman. What's happening is the result of a telepathic treachery. The post-hypnotic suggestion that just now got triggered and put him on the train to Delusionville. Think of it like a revenge time bomb." Terry tells him, "Well, if that's the case, we need to hurry back and save Matt." But Booster stops him. It's too late. Matt is gone. Bruce killed. Terry grabs Booster Gold, punching him. "You're lying!" And as Terry flies up, Booster Gold calls Skeets to come, and suddenly Terry flies right into Booster Gold's time sphere. Terry asks what is this thing, and Booster tells him, "Well, it's a time sphere. There's a chance to save Matt, but what's done here is done." Booster Gold jumps in and tackles Terry inside, telling him, "You have to come with me." As Terry struggles to free himself, he asks where, and Booster Gold tells him, "I already said nowhere. When?" Soon the time sphere pops out of existence and into Gotham 2020. The door to the time sphere opens up and Terry punches Booster Gold, asking, "Is this some kind of game?" And Skeets tells him, "Though Booster has deficiencies, many to be honest, I can assure you that Booster is not conning you." Terry grabs Skeets, telling him, "You both seem like whack jobs. Take me back, now." Skeets says that they can return, but it would result in his brother's everlasting demise. Booster Gold pulls Terry out, telling him that instead of screaming and shouting, maybe he could listen to the ones who are actual experts at this whole time travel thing. Terry punches Booster Gold back again, telling him, "You're the reason for Matt's death." And Booster Gold says, again, with the cheap shot. Look, there is an irregularity in Mr. Wayne's brain that dates back to this day in history. That implanted suggestion, which worked on a time delay, caused him to turn against you like a sleeper agent. Our job is to make sure that the suggestion doesn't get implanted. Then go back to the future where everything will be fine again and we party all night. Terry leans in telling him, you better be right about this. This is my brother's life we're dealing with. And Booster says not to worry. His batting average is... But just then, there's an explosion off in the distance. Terry takes off into the air asking if he knew about this, and Booster tells him, yeah, whatever happens to affect Batman's mind happens soon. The two fly over to the nearby burning buildings and they begin to pull everyone out, but before long, a voice calls out asking, who are you to interfere with art? A man with white hair and a white cape steps out stating that he recognizes the huckster, but not the red bat. A new Batman, perhaps? Terry asks, did I just hear that last part in my head? And Booster Gold tells him, yeah, he's a telepath by the name of... The man stops him. Yes, my name is Blanc. Death is art, and art is death, and I shall add you to my canvas. Suddenly, the house begins to lift from the ground and rocket towards the two of them, with Booster Gold stating, oh yeah, forgot to mention, Blanc also has telekinetic powers. As Booster jumps on top of the flying debris, he tells Terry to go clear out the rest of the houses. This force field will do most of the work. Blanc freezes Booster Gold in place, asking, you're a time traveler. Interesting. I shall dig into your mind soon enough. As Blanc swiftly lifts his finger, Booster Gold rockets back into the house, crashing down right next to a young boy. The boy asks if he's okay, and Booster says, yeah, give me a sec. Terry then flies through, grabbing him, telling him, don't worry. And the boy responds with, are you really Batman? I am. What's your name? My name's Warren. Warren McGinnis. And Terry stops. Warren, whoa! This kid is my dad! As he sets him down, Warren says, I didn't know Batman could fly. Cool. What's with the red wings? And Terry tells him, yeah, they're cool. But then a commanding voice tells him, let the boy go, or I will tear you apart. Warren looks at this timeline's Batman silhouette asking, who's that? And then Terry informs Warren, I recognize the voice, and it means trouble. Times 10. Terry takes a few moments to try and formulate a plan, and Batman calls out, you have 3 seconds to let the boy go. 3, 2, and at that moment, Booster Gold jumps down asking, are you taking out some fire suppressant cartridges? Won't need them. Dude on the other side is a friend, here to protect the kid. Batman looks back, telling him, you're here? Then the situation involves time travel, correct? Booster Gold tells him, actually, no, not at all. And Skeet says that they're just here to assist the villainous Blanc, sir. Booster Gold asks, did you just call him sir? And Skeet says, because that is Batman. Batman then says, I will stop Blanc myself. You can help by staying out of the way. As Batman runs towards Blanc, Blanc looks into his mind asking, did you change? Curious, no matter. Blanc then lifts a bus to throw, but as he does, Booster Gold jumps in the way to shield Batman, telling him, don't worry, I borrowed this from a museum. Totally works! As Batman climbs over the bus, Blanc looks at him thinking that something is not as it seems. Batman didn't change. Maybe there are 2 bats? Over in the next yard, Terry sets Warren down and tells him that he'll be back soon. He's going to go help make sure that Booster Gold doesn't get hurt. As he leaves though, Warren says, Batman's new uniform rules! Skeets tells him that it is experimental for now. It is likely that he will need more development before using it again. But back with Bruce Wayne as Batman, which is what we'll be referring to the current timeline Batman from this point forward, he throws himself at Blanc, telling him that his rampage needs to end. Blanc holds up his hand, freezing Bruce in place, asking, really? Let's see what kind of secrets are inside of your head. Oh, interesting. Blanc waves his hand, launching Bruce aside, telling him that his ability to resist is remarkable, something he won't be able to keep up once he's unconscious. As Bruce is thrown into a tree, Booster Girl takes the chance to tackle into Blanc from behind, stopping him from going inside of Batman's mind. Blanc slowly gets to his feet, telling Booster Gold, you can't possibly think that you have a chance at winning this! Batman was resistant to mind control, but you? Never. Before Booster Gold could even ask, Blanc telepathically tells him to kill Batman. Booster Gold struggles, but with no will of his own, his arms slowly shift towards the downed Bruce. The blasters begin to charge up, but before they can go off, Terry jumps through the fire, punching Blanc. briefly releasing his hold over Booster Gold. Blanc yells to kill him, but Booster Gold swings his arms towards Terry and begins to shoot. Booster tells him, "I can't help it!" And then Blanc walks over asking, "Who are you?" Terry struggles to push Blanc out of his head, but Blanc asks, "You're from the future? Well, let's see all those secrets." With Blanc's control weakened, Booster Gold jumps towards Blanc but is suddenly frozen. And Blanc says, "Instead of killing Batman, you can kill yourself. Remove yourself from this world." As hard as Booster Gold tries, he slowly begins to aim his blasters at his own head, when suddenly Skeet jets in, crashing into Blanc's face. Booster Gold pulls his arms away, stating, "That's it, Skeets! Give him enough to erase the Blankster!" The blast from Booster launches Blanc back, but before he lands, Terry punches him up, telling him, "As long as I live, I will never let Bruce become a murderer." Booster Gold then says, "Great! Now that he's all comatose, someone needs to get out of here before the real Batman shows up." Terry flies off. Batman walks up asking Booster Gold if he took out Blanc all by himself. Booster dusts his hands off. "Yep, Skeets helped a bit, but yeah, all me. I was also thinking that maybe we could team up, Batman and Booster." But Batman looks at him. "No, not now, not ever." But over in the next yard, Warren asks if he really did beat up that Blanc guy, and Terry tells him, "Yeah, with a little help from Booster and Skeets." Warren tells him that that's awesome, and Terry kneels down telling him, "You're gonna have a great life." As he flies off, Warren yells thanks again. He won't tell anyone about the special suit. And back in the future, Terry walks back into the suite asking if everyone's okay. Is everyone alive, not going crazy? Matt steps forward asking why would he be? But Terry jumps up yelling that Booster was right. "It worked! We changed time!" Bruce asks, "Booster Gold was here?" And Terry explains, "Yeah, he said that you had an enemy from your past who planted a telepathic bomb and well, never mind, we fixed it." As Terry and Matt go off to get food, Bruce says that they're gone. And a robed man steps out of the shadows telling him, he sure went for it. Hook, line, and sinker. Bruce tells him, "Yes, Terry thinks he changed time, but we know better. Matt will keep our little stunt secret. Explain to him that turning on them was an act, but to never tell Terry." This all became necessary when Bruce discovered Warren McGinnis's journal and reviewed it. He wrote of Batman's heroism and that is what inspired him to do the right thing by reporting to Derek Powers. The older Booster Gold puts down his hood and says, "Yeah, with a major complicating factor." Bruce goes on telling him that Warren's memories of a flying Batman with red wings and the command to keep it secret. Booster Gold then says that since that idea wasn't conceived yet back then, the only possible explanation was that Terry traveled back in time, where he met his own father as a boy. They needed to facilitate that to make it happen, along with the younger Booster Gold. Bruce then says that his younger self of that era was the perfect person to take Terry back in time, where they could make Warren's journal a reality. This would ultimately lead to Terry becoming Batman. Booster says, "Still, I wish it didn't mean the death of Warren, but without it, Terry wouldn't have become Batman." Batman tells him that they must recognize the tragedies that they'd like to erase are the ones that have to stand. All that matters is that they ensured that Batman lives on. As a robed woman watches security footage, she asks, "What is this?" And a voice tells her that this is airport security of Batman. He came looking for a crate and then killed the guard helping him. But it was all recorded. The woman watching states that it's hard to believe that Batman has become a killer in that box. Well, later while patrolling Gotham, Terry gets a call from his old girlfriend Dana telling him that he is needed at the hospital. Terry asks what's wrong, but Dana tells him that Matt and Bruce were attacked and they need him here. Terry rushes to the hospital, but suddenly is stopped by the police telling him to land. He's wanted for questioning, and Terry yells, "Maybe another time! My family needs me!" As he pulls up, he activates the suit's cloaking device and manages to get away. A few moments later, Terry runs into the waiting room yelling, "Where is Bruce and Matt?" Barbara tells him that there was an attack, but that's the thing. The security footage shows them that it was Batman who did it. Terry pauses for a moment and says, "That would be why the cops were after me. But we'll have to deal with that later. First, Bruce and Matt." Before Terry could even turn around, Matt walks up with his arm in a cast telling him, "I'm fine. But Mr. Wayne, it's bad, Terry." Terry runs over to hug Matt asking what happened, and Matt says that Batman, or someone dressed like him, came into the lab looking for something and turned on them. Mr. Wayne actually ended up having a heart attack, but once he went down, the bogus Batman grabbed some device and took off. Terry heads into the room where Bruce is being treated and asks the nurse if he can come in. The nurse tells him that he has 5 minutes, no more. They're prepping the OR for an immediate heart transplant. Terry walks over to the bed asking Bruce who did this, who attacked them. And Bruce strains himself. As he tries to move his arm, he knocks over a glass of water, causing it to shatter. Terry says he'll get a mop, but then a robed woman says that may have been an accident, or is he trying to tell us something? Terry looks back, asking who's there, and Wonder Woman pulls down her hood, stating that this could be something about the attacker. Terry asks if it's really her, and Wonder Woman says yes, she is here to help an old friend and perhaps make a new one. Bruce's behavior has made it clear that they can trust Terry, but first they need to go somewhere a little more private. As the two fly over the city, Terry says that she mentioned something about they, and Wonder Woman tells him that they are her associates. They are grateful that Bruce found someone to take over for him, someone trustworthy. But where exactly are they going? The two land on a sinking platform, and Terry says that this is Wayne Tech R&D. That water that Bruce knocked over and the footage of someone like him makes it obvious that they are dealing with a shapeshifter, one who might appear to be composed of black liquid. And then a screeching voice asks, "Is it me?" The black fluid mass knocks the two down, and Terry shouts, "Ink!" Ink splashes on the ground, reforming, stating that she will not allow them to prevent her from saving herself. And as Wonder Woman gets up, she tells Terry to brief her. Terry explains that she is a corporate saboteur with a body made of a black ink-like substance. She can solidify super quick and turn into almost any form that she wants. Ink shifts her body into Terry, stating, "That is correct! And I'm going to be leaving here with the device that I need to let me live." Wonder Woman throws herself at Ink, and as she wraps her arms around her, Ink just separates her body, jumping into the drain, asking, "How stupid are you?" Terry runs over to the computer, looking at the log, stating that the things that she took looked like a stabilizer core and a power source, composed of an inert material that can stabilize any substance by putting it into a type of stasis. So she thinks these items can save her. Ink then appears from above, punching them both back, stating, "Yes, and I have to hurry!" And Wonder Woman gets back up, stating that she solidified. Now's our chance. She throws her lasso, but Ink allows it to pass through and then grabs Wonder Woman by the head, asking, "How about we find something to smother you?" Terry quickly grabs a hose, stating that this worked before, but Ink slams him into the wall, stating that it worked once, and only once. Terry then notices the containment box that Ink took out earlier is nearby and says that he might have an idea. If he can't use water, maybe Sonics will stop her. As he activates the sonic blast from his belt, Ink's entire body separates, and she shouts, "Please don't let her die, please!" Wonder Woman says he can't possibly kill her, can he? And he tells her of course not. His guess is that it's gotten harder for her to maintain her form, and that's why she needs the stabilizer core. She'd have to spend time in it to maintain her form. It's probably the only thing that can keep her alive. Terry activates the cube and begins to suck all of Ink into it, and Wonder Woman asks if he's sure that this is the answer. He says that Ink has always struggled to maintain her physical form. She needs this, the power source, and the equipment here to do it. Now, he isn't an expert on this, but they can find out who she really is. Wonder Woman says that he could have left her on the floor seeping into the cracks, but Terry says that it isn't his style. She might be a killer, but it doesn't mean that she has to die herself. Bruce will help her, provided he makes it. Wonder Woman tells him that she can see why Bruce took Terry in. Perhaps it's time they go look in on him. As Terry returns, Barbara tells him that Bruce's body managed to sync up with the new heart and he's going to be fine. Bruce looks over and groans, asking where is Ink? And Terry says that she's trapped in the cube. Hardly ideal, but it'll keep her alive until they find something permanent. An old friend of his gives her best. She's waiting for him outside. Bruce laughs. "Diana, it's about time you two met." Terry smiles, stating that she is just as impressive as him. Must have been quite a team back in the day. Bruce asks, "Back in the day? My time isn't over yet. I have plenty of time to give." Terry opens up the curtain, stating that he's sure of that, which means that no matter what the bad guys throw at them, the time for a new beginning is here. For all of them. A few moments later on the rooftop, Wonder Woman asks if he's going to be okay. Terry flies down, stating it will take more than a heart attack to stop Bruce Wayne. Wonder Woman laughs, telling him that it's good to know that some things never change, but come. We should go meet those associates that we spoke about earlier. They're watching. Terry begins to look around, asking, "Really? Wait, do you mean?" She flies up, telling him, "Yes. My friends wish to meet you. After all, the Justice League isn't complete without a Batman." Now, sadly, viewers, this is the end of Batman Beyond. We've gone through a Flash Beyond. We've gone through a Robin Beyond. We've gone through a Batwoman Beyond. We've gone through the Joker Beyond. We've done so many characters, and we're finally getting to the Justice League, and DC canceled the book. It is over here. I'm a little sad because unlike the ending of Red Hood or the ending of Teen Titans where there was like a actual completion, this feels like they intended to move on, to move into the Justice League Beyond, but we'll never see that story. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and don't forget you can vote on the current books coming out here on the channel by going to our Patreon, patreon.com/Comicstorian. We have a whole tier there where you can vote on podcast topics, videos coming to the channel, how we're handling things, just everything in general, and we'd love for you to be a part of that. On that note, guys, we're going to end this video here. I hope you guys enjoyed the Batman Beyond series. The whole playlist will be down below for you to enjoy. Full story coming out in probably about a month or two, and we'll see you guys next time right here at Comicstorian.